Deep within the factory lies the truth of what happened at Playtime Company, and even though some toys will personally make sure you don't uncover it, in this video, you're gonna discover it all. Hurry up, in less time than it takes for a Pianosaurus to die, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications. These are the 25 secrets in Poppy Playtime Chapter 4. Doughy the Dough Man is a blob that can change shape, but his look isn't based on anything made of clay. It seems that Mob was inspired by Frosty the Snowman, a popular character from the 1950s whose song told of a snowman melting while playing with children. It's a parallel to Doughy's protective and playful attitude. Well, one of them, the one that doesn't kill people. In some emblems scattered around the factory, you can see an image of Huggy Wuggy with a Latin phrase written over it, Ludere Tempus, which literally means time of play or playtime, the name of the company behind Poppy Playtime. Some players were heartbroken by the Safe Haven's explosion and started making all kinds of tributes to the toys. Lying on the ground are two plushies of Catnap and Dog Day, victims of the explosion, whose last act was holding each other's hands tightly. It's probably best to just remember the good times in the Safe Haven, like when, still alive, they used to complain about being hungry in the video room.
My stomach, it hurts.
There are a couple of Doughy features you might have missed because they're super hidden. Between his transformation into a monster and his friendly look, there's an intermediate appearance where he gets angry and sharp red teeth appear in his mouth. When he transforms into his aggressive appearance, the three children emerging from his mouth show three different expressions: kindness, sadness, and anger, representing the personalities of the three kids inside him. There's also a cut dialogue where Doughy assigns the player a side quest mission to recover a book called The Adventures of the Word Wizard.
Hey, if you have the time, there's something else I'd like you to watch out for. It's The Adventures of the Word Wizard! It's a book.
One of the most important objects from Chapter 3 of Poppy Playtime also appears in Chapter 4. When the player arrives at the lab, they have to pass a test inside a maze filled with red gas. To do so, you need to use a gas mask, which looks exactly like the one seen in Chapter 3, only this time it's broken. The big reveal in Chapter 4 isn't that Huggy Wuggy is alive, but rather the origins of Poppy. A hidden videotape featuring a confession from the doll reveals that she was the one who organized the Hour of Joy, but her real intention was simply to let the monsters escape. Her role in the game is the most important of all because when she was human, she was the daughter of Elliot Ludwig, the founder of Playtime Company. This means Poppy died as a human only to be reborn as a doll. She was also the one who kicked off the idea of Harley Sawyer's Bigger Bodies initiative, which eventually put an end to Playtime Company. The lemon has become one of the classic Easter eggs in Poppy Playtime. It's an inside joke by the developers where they hide a yellow lemon in every chapter.
Limon?
This time it's tucked away in one of the prison beams before you get the red hand back. If you extend the grab pack, you can grab it, and when you release or throw it, it'll scream the word limon, lemon, in Spanish.
Limon! Limon? Limon!
Chapter 4 of Poppy Playtime is the first time you get to see almost the entire body of the prototype. Up until now, only its hands had appeared, which were used to take away the remains of monsters after the player defeated them. Now it's clear that its body resembles that of a mechanical spider. In the game files, you can see that its body is represented solely by a two-dimensional animation, and it's impossible to see beyond this external figure. This is the first time the prototype doesn't take a monster at the end of the chapter, probably because Doughy wasn't part of its group of followers. Randomly throughout the game, Dr. Harley Sawyer's eye can appear on monitors scattered around the factory, a reminder that the doctor is always watching. Sawyer ended up transformed into one of his own experiments after his co-workers Eddie, Stella, and Leith grew tired of his morally questionable practices and turned him into nothing more than a brain. Now, the doctor controls the factory from the comfort of his tank, managing security with the Omni chip and moving around on robots with monitors for heads that oddly resemble the endos from Five Nights at Freddy's. The Hour of Joy had an alternate name that would have revealed a big secret of the game. According to the creators of Poppy Playtime, the first name they considered for this event was the Rapture. This refers not to the massacre that happened in the factory, but to how the prototype kidnapped all the children in the playcare. It's also likely a small nod to BioShock, one of the games that inspired Poppy Playtime, whose underwater city was named Rapture. In addition to photos of the developers scattered throughout different areas of the game, you can also find photos of their pets. A clear example is the pictures of cats hidden inside one of the lockers in the safe haven. Speaking of pets, after taking down Yarnaby, you can find a brochure featuring a dog with the text Varg Hog on one of the shelves to the right. This matches a sticker of the same dog that appeared in Chapter 3. The number shown in the TV ad for Doughy the Doughman is completely functional and real. If you call it, you'll hear this.
Thank you for calling Playtime Co., home of beloved children's toys like Huggy Wuggy and the newly released Doughy the Doughman. All of our Playtime customer satisfaction associates are currently assisting other callers. Please remain on the line and someone will be with you momentarily to help you get your child's very own Playtime pal. Thank you for calling Playtime Co., home of beloved children's toys like Huggy Wuggy and the new all of our Playtime customer satisfaction are currently assisting other callers.
Throughout the beginning of Chapter 4, the player collects notes written by a girl named Riley. In them, she explains how she arrived at the factory and ended up turned into a kissy-missy toy. This tragic story concludes with Riley hiding next to the key for the train that transports the toys to the prison, hoping that someday someone will find her. Finally, the player does find her, but she's in a pretty bad state. Poor Riley, at least she was able to help the player continue the adventure. Since his dramatic fall in Chapter 1, there has been a lot of speculation about Huggy Wuggy's comeback. In Chapter 2, remnants of blue hair were found in the pipes, suggesting that his body had fallen in that area. However, in Chapter 3, nothing was revealed about his whereabouts. Isaac X, the director of the first 3 chapters of Poppy Playtime, revealed that Huggy Wuggy's return was always planned, though they didn't know exactly when. In the end, the chosen moment was at the end of Chapter 4. He also mentioned that in previous chapters, they had tried many times to introduce Braun as an enemy, but so far they haven't managed to fit him in. Spending all day locked in the safe haven can get pretty boring, which is why the toys have left several balls and a goal scattered around the facility for fun. If you take one of the balls to the goal and score, you'll hear a little sound. After escaping from Baba Chomps and the rest of the nightmare critters, Dr. Harley Sawyer locks you in a room and presents you with a dilemma: end the life of a little Simon Smokes or sacrifice your own to save him. Here, you have 2 options. The first is to take the connector and plug it into a machine to deliver a lethal electric shock to the toy. This will reinforce Harley Sawyer's convictions and open the door for you to climb up to his lair. The second is to use the grab pack to escape through a hole in the ceiling. This will leave Dr. Harley Sawyer momentarily confused, and then he'll invite you to climb up to his lair. Both decisions lead you to the same point in the story. It's just that depending on your choice, Dr. Harley Sawyer's dialogue will change accordingly. There's also a third option: wait until the nightmare critters from outside break the glass and end your life. This results in a game over and resets the last save point. Inside this safe haven storage, you can find several hidden surprise boxes. They're much smaller than what you'd normally expect, but they're none other than the commercially sized Boxy Boo toy. Beyond this little Easter egg, Boxy Boo doesn't appear in Chapter 4, but Leith Pierre mentions it in one of his tapes.
Why do you think you're sitting in there right now and not in Boxy's stomach?
Apparently, one of Boxy Boo's functions in the factory was to get rid of people who would cause trouble for Playtime Company. They'd lock them in a room, and the toy would take care of making them disappear. And speaking of disappearances, there is an experiment that, so far, has been impossible to identify. This is Experiment 1424, described as a rigid toy who is physically capable of speech, but its speech is incoherent and rare. The most notable thing is that it suffers from catalepsy, a neurological disorder characterized by loss of mobility and muscle rigidity. Due to this condition, it is believed that it could be Braun, as in his restoration tape, he can barely move. Doughy has 3 hands of different colors in his belly that symbolize the 3 children inside him. What you might not know is that these hands already appeared 7 months before Doughy was introduced. In the summer of 2024, Mob Entertainment shared an image on social media of Huggy Wuggy at the beach. Pretty normal stuff. But if you look at the magazine lying on the towel, you'll see that Doughy's hands are on the cover. A very subtle way of dropping hints about Chapter 4. So subtle that nobody could guess what it was about until it was revealed in January 2025. For much of the chapter, the player has to visit a part of the factory called No Man's Land. This name wasn't chosen at random. It refers to the Great War that took place between the factory's toys. If you look at the walls in the safe haven, you'll discover that the toys split into 2 factions, one led by Poppy and the other by the Prototype. The war took place on land situated between the 2 forces, an area commonly referred to as No Man's Land in trench warfare. Much of the story unfolds in the abandoned zone where the battle between the toys occurred. The Omni Hand is a powerful grab bag tool that allows access to any area of the factory, regardless of its security level. Harley Sawyer managed to get a hold of it to control the factory and open or close doors at will. According to its creators on X, the Omni Hand wasn't originally going to exist. It was supposed to be an energy cell. Initially, the player's mission was to steal the energy cell from the doctor's machine and install it in the safe haven's generator, which was operating at only 0.5% capacity. The plan was scrapped in the end because there were already too many missions related to restoring electricity in the game. At last, one of the most secret areas of Playtime Company has been revealed. After falling through a huge hole, the player discovers a sort of greenhouse full of poppies. This flower has been a very important symbol since the first chapter of the game, appearing on the initial letter, in the room where Poppy was locked up, and even in the introduction video. The poppy is a flower with hypnotic and sedative properties, normally used to treat nervous problems or insomnia. It's very likely that all these flowers are being grown to create the red gas that runs throughout the factory, which toys like Catnap can exhale to put their victims to sleep. But it seems the poppy flowers aren't only for that. In Chapter 2, you could read a note about Experiment 814. It explains that when a dead rat was immersed in a mixture of preservative gel and a poppy, the animal couldn't be brought back to life. However, after analyzing what happened, it's believed that trying with something bigger might yield a different result. It's very likely that poppies have something to do with transferring life from a human body to toys, or even reviving already dead humans, as might be the case with Elliot Ludwig's daughter, who, as you know, is Poppy, like the flower. Continuing in the secret lab, after passing through a corridor full of poppies, the player comes across a videotape that must be played. This VHS stars Leith Pierre, and aside from the life-threatening threats, if you pay attention to his words, you'll notice that his tape holds a secret parallel to the very first tape the player finds in Chapter 1 of Poppy Playtime.
Hi, my name is Leith Pierre, and I'm the head of innovation here at the Playtime Co. Toy Factory.
Hi, my name is Leith Pierre, and I'm the head of innovation here at Playtime Co.
If you're seeing this, then you're trespassing.
If you're seeing this, you must be very, very lost. Well,
when the player reaches one of the Playtime Company's labs, they're tasked with finding a hidden number on the corpses of several toys scattered throughout corridors filled with red gas. The objective is to arrange these numbers in a specific order from top to bottom. For that, a very particular song plays. It's Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes, a children's song used around the world to teach kids the different parts of the body in English.
Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes.
During Chapter 4, you might come across several cardboard cutouts of antagonist toys like Pianosaurus, Yarnaby, or Doughy. In addition to lines of dialogue, some of them let you hear part of their TV commercial jingle, though you don't actually see it. On the internet, the official versions of these commercials have been revealed, including one for the nightmare critters that you can hear in one of the safe haven's rooms.
Cozy and cuddly, your new best friend, Yarnaby. We're cuddly, cute, and creepy.
Something giving you the jitters might just be the nightmare critter.
Pianosaurus, he plays just for us.
After the release of Poppy Playtime Chapter 4, many artists who worked on the project shared some of the game's conceptual art on X. For example, here you can see how the player and Kissy Missy face off against an angry Doey. Before becoming a huge machine with a brain inside, the Doctor was originally going to have a humanoid form, with his vital organs stored in his chest. On the other hand, behind-the-scenes images from the Doey commercial shoot have been revealed, where they used a figure as a stand-in for the actors, with the rest done in 3D animation. There's also concept art of the hidden lemon in the prison, and sketches showing what Doey would look like if he were frozen. Mob included the names of content creators who are part of Partners in Crime, their exclusive creator group, in the game's credits. Look, we're in there too! Keep discovering all the secrets hidden in the toy factory with the videos I'm linking here. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss anything about Poppy Playtime and Huggy Wuggy. Thanks for watching, and see you next time!